as we continue to work our way through over 16 years worth of memories. Sometimes when you get a big collection like that, when you're trying to catch up, you're going to run into some unhappy memories. Maybe, what I call baggage. There may be some people who aren't in your life anymore, some people or events that bring you bad feelings. What do we do with those? We're going to talk about that some more a little later. But first, I just got back from a wonderful retreat, 4 days, parts of 4 days, Friday to Monday, near Charlotte, North Carolina. We had a great time. We got some pages done. We chit-chatted. We stayed up past our bedtime, and it was just a lot of fun. But I have stuff all over the place. I'm not unpacked, but that is no problem because what we've been working on, I've been using the Global Getaway album kit. And remember, we laid out all those base pages. They were so simple and easy. And they are laid out with my pictures and memorabilia in this box here. So I don't have to unpack everything, all my collections, punches, things like that. I may want to enhance some pages. I'll go back and add some embellishments and journaling later. But right now, all I need is my tape runner and my trimmers, and we are ready to go. As I look in my box here, I've got some pages we haven't used yet. Those off to the side. And then let's pull out the first 2-page spread here. Trying not to drop all my pictures. And I think I'll put my box on the floor so I have a little room. And this is a trip I went on, many years ago. And I got the approximate date. I want to keep that. Probably go back and journal later. And put a title in. This is Washington State. I think that goes up that way. But anyhow, this is one of my early work trips, and I spent part of the time exploring with my boyfriend at the time. So as you go through these old pictures, you may run into some ex-boyfriends, and while this is a fairly pleasant memory, there are some that are painful memories, and there are some that might be just a little awkward, like, this was a fun trip, but my husband might not enjoy seeing this. So my plan is to just highlight the trips, and if somebody happens to be in a photo, I might put that in there. But basically, my plan for things like this is to just sort of just do the highlights, right? So let's get to that. When I was on my retreat this weekend, one of my friends is working on a lot of old pictures, and they have her ex-husband in them, which is not a happy memory. But she's doing an album for her children, and she really wanted to do that. So, that's a labor of love. I know somebody else who has an ex-husband in a lot of her albums, and she just wants to throw them in the trash. And you know what? That's okay. She doesn't have any children. And if she wants to throw them out, she can. And just keep sort of the happy memories with you. Because there's other things, they're with you anyway. I don't know that I need a picture of a couple of cars. Oh, I know why I want this picture. I think I'm going to trim it though. Yeah. I wanted these pictures to show that the houses here on Whidbey Island had moss on the roofs. I just thought that was so funny, so cool. Let's see. Anyhow, you've got, basically you do things the way you want to. and keep the memories that you want to. So if you have unhappy memories, especially if you don't have family members that want them, then feel free to toss those. And if you're like me and you want to sort of document some of your adventures, the different states you went to, some travel you did, then just gloss over, you know. You don't have to highlight the people that you were with, but you definitely want a picture of yourself maybe, and just show that you were there. Oh, I just wanted to show you that I wanted to cut this little bunny out. So I got my custom cutting system, or CCS, circle patterns out, and an embellishment from Noteworthy Days. I think I will use maybe the green blade because I want a little space here. And if you're not familiar, you just fit the little feet here into the tracks on the inside or the outside. And you might have the old blades that you have to turn your hand, but these are the newer ones that the blade rotates, so you don't have to do that. Make sure I got enough in there. Move it over a little bit. Okay. There. And I'll just put it right on that embellishment there. Oh, that'll be cute. Okay, so I'm throwing away some similar pictures or things that I don't really remember the significance, and that's the first layout, and let's move on to the next one. This is my first time to San Diego, California, and let's see. Oh, and you know how when you haven't flown much and you're just so thrilled to see views from the airplane. So there's a lot of that. Very, very pretty area. And yeah, that's kind of the same picture. That one's better, so I don't need that one. Views from the water, views of the Pacific. I really want some palm trees in here. I think that's so pretty. Well, that's what impressed me at the time. I still think that's pretty. In fact, I might add some little airplanes up here. Move that up a little. Okay. I know it's not very fancy, but the idea is to keep it simple, and we may actually do a more complicated layout next week, but I'm just gonna adhere these down. I'm so glad I was using repositionable tape because I had to switch these two. I realized when I was looking at it that this was my only picture from venturing across the border into Tijuana, and everything else is San Diego, so I switched them to put that one by itself. Of course, I'll journal later, but I decided I want to use this new in-flight border punch because apparently I was so enamored with looking at the views from the airplane. So I've got some scraps of white shimmer that I'm going to use for clouds. And then, unfortunately, I couldn't find any platinum shimmer. So let's get a sheet of paper to work on here. So I'm going to use this, I think it's lavender ice shimmer for the airplane. It looks a little bit like silver, depends on how the light hits it. I'll just try that, and maybe I could ink around the edges later. We'll see. So let's make a few clouds. Open up the punch. And I don't have to get everything lined up perfectly because I'm not making a border right now. Just a few clouds. might just use the edge there. That should work. There. And move that over a little. Make another airplane. And do I need another airplane? We'll go with 2 for now. Okay. I'm just going to stick it on for now, but I definitely need to ink that a little bit to make it show up. That would be pretty right there. Now I'll move it up there, and then get a couple clouds. Although I'm using repositionable tape, it does tend to take a little bit off of these dark colors when you move them. So I want to be kind of sure that I want it up there. And it becomes permanent over time. Put a little cloud here. Actually, I should probably do that backwards. So if you don't want to use it, the repositionable tape rubs off. You probably can't see that. And just rub it off there. So yeah, I'm going to do the back side instead. Make it go this way. I'll think about that. I might rearrange those. And I don't need the white ones. And then we're on to our next page. These next few pages are a little complicated. Back in the 80s, my Navy friends all had a pretty wild lifestyle. The philosophy was work hard, play hard. So different from the way that I live today. But you know, I think I just kind of want a sampling of what life was like living in Southern Maryland, living on a military base. I want to do a few pages of that. And so I'm going to include it and just talk about it. And I looked in the Global Getaway Mat Pack, and this I think is the perfect journaling box for it, with the little airplane on it to go here. And I might, we ate a lot of steamed crabs up there, or actually that was living the high life. You know, you were living good when you were having steamed crabs, and definitely keep that. And I might go find my little Krabby Krabs punch and add that. And then I think this one here is somebody who was a very not a pleasant memory. And you know what? It's just that person, and it's time to just let that sucker go in the trash. So I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I can't show all the faces. I have pictures on it. But I was talking with my friend this weekend also as she was working on her children's pictures about not knowing the dates. And at first, this and the next page were bothering me because I didn't know the exact order of things. But really, and Pam Wynn gave me this idea, is at this point in time, I mean, if you're doing your pictures right then, it kind of matters. If you're on vacation, you want to know what you did on the first day. But if you're doing these maybe decades later, frankly, nobody cares if it was second grade or third grade, or if it was 1988 or 1989. So what you can do is just sort of put things close to when they were, or you can do collages. If you did your child's school pictures and you did those in order, and then you have all these other pictures of them and their friends, just do a collage and say this was elementary school, or the high school years, or my friends in Maryland. Like there's a really good friend of mine in this picture. And that makes me happy to see that. Another idea is you saw how my first page was kind of a grid, right? Very square. That's a little bit of my personality and how I scrapbook. But I knew that these all went together. When you're doing a collage, I decided to just kind of turn these this way and that way, and on I don't know, maybe that's sort of a signal that they're not in exact chronological order, and it just doesn't matter because I made a little collage out of it.
I hope this gave you some inspiration about what to do with your pictures. I'd love for you to share it in the comments or share some of your ideas. What do you do when things aren't the greatest memories? What do you do when you don't know the dates? And oh, by the way, on that last page, I threw out another picture. So I don't know, that just kind of makes me happy, makes me feel a little lighter. So I hope you'll join me next time, and we will be putting a lot of pictures on a page. I'll see you then.